project that I need to pick up some metal for. So I'm going to go down to the metal shop, grab some metal, come back, kind of put this system together and implement. So this is one of the local metal supply places in my town, and it's funny because before I came over to this place, because they have kind of a very retail kind of situation going on where there's some other yards that are kind of scrap metal, and so I decided to stop at the other place first, and everything was like out in the rain and just piles of stuff, and then the price was like $4 a pound, and he was like, yeah, it's going to be somewhere around 25 pounds, so it's like $100 for a piece of metal, and then it was $10 a cut. It was like totally crazy. So, and there's no way I could like lift through like 4x8 sheets of this metal to like screw around while I'm in the middle of the mud. So I left that place and I came to this place where I normally go, and I walked up to the counter and I was like, yeah, I need a 30-inch by 60-inch piece of aluminum. And they're like, okay, that'd be $35 cut and brought to your car for you. So sometimes what you think might be a savings might not actually be a savings. But this place is awesome and has lots of stuff. So you're probably wondering what I'm doing, and basically, with all the information that I learned from building this car with aluminum panels and rivets and how to cut through the panels and, yada, 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 I'm actually creating a piece to cover up a vent for my house. Now, this is kind of twofold because as soon as my car goes into the body shop, if you will, to get work done and get all the body work done, once the body parts are off the car, I need to actually go and lizard skin my car, the inside of the car, the firewall, things like that. And, lizard skin says something like, once a bucket's open, it's only going to last 6 months. Well, when I saw that, I sealed up the bucket and I put it in my house, so it's been in air conditioning the whole time. And so I'm going to bring it out a little bit later and verify whether the stuff's still good because it's about 3 years old. And also, I'm going to paint it by hand on these panels because I want to make sure that these panels are soundproof and not, sounding like thunder on the side of my house when there's a windstorm. So I've never painted with a brush with this stuff. I've only sprayed it. And so it's going to be a really good opportunity for me to check it out and see if it's still viable or if I need to buy new stuff for my car, really soon. Now, of course, once I have the panels cut, I need to actually sand everything and, clean them off with a, reducer, if you will, or wax and grease remover, and then need to go in and sand everything so things will adhere to it. And then I'm going to actually hand paint the lizard skin. So this lizard skin has been, I don't know, in storage for about 2 or 3 years, half used, and I made sure I kept it in air conditioning, and it seems to be fine, working really well. So for this project, I wanted to den these panels, and they're not going to be seen. So it's kind of two things. I wanted to double check whether this is viable stuff still, because I still have to do the inside of my 33. And the second thing is I've never applied it by hand. I've only shot it, and so for this, I don't really care. I'm just going to put it by hand, which I'm probably going to have to do on my firewall because I got the frame and everything there. And I might want to do it by hand instead of spraying just to make it easier, to not have to mask a bunch of stuff off. I won't know until I get there. So it's kind of a twofold operation here, testing this out. So it's way easier to put on than I thought. Of course, these are just flat panels and not, you know, intricate parts around the frame or anything. But yeah, it's like, I don't want to say like whipping cream, but you know, it's a latex-based paint, but it definitely has a different viscosity, a little thicker. Maybe like super fresh icing. That might be a better, not dry, but icing for a cake or something. That's about the consistency if it's super fresh and not dried up. So that's all I need to do on this side, and then the other side I'm going to have to paint. All right, so what I think I'm going to do in a few minutes is drop this down, maybe put around the block a little bit because I did change the trans oil because I changed the trans pan, and so I got to get the oil back through before I do anything crazy with the car. And also see if that valve cover is leaking at all or not. You know, and there's not that I can't really think of anything else I could do while the car is still put together. You know, like I can't get to the air conditioning without taking the body off and things like that. So for the most part, I think, you know, we're only, geez, I don't know, 2 weeks away from dropping it off. So, you know, these videos have become somewhat real time at this point. I used to have a little bit of a buffer between when I'd work on the car and when you'd see it published, but right now everything's kind of real time because there's not a lot going on. But it's going pretty good. Now this thing is kind of interesting because I've been using these crappy covers that don't fit the car. And I've just had a horrible experience with this company that I bought these from. And this is probably my 4th or 5th one. This is a really windy area. Okay, so that gets me to a point. So the vent that I did, which as you can see at the top of his house, there's the vent up there. The vent that I did is on that side of the house. And there's these winds that come flying this way, which is, you know, why I covered that up, because the rain will actually go in when it's super windy, and it was last night right before I put these up. So I was getting a little bit of water in there. Same thing with these covers. I've actually like driven up the street before and watched the cover fly. Literally as I'm pulling in, the cover goes flying into the road because it's so windy, and the wind will just destroy and just rip this thing to shreds. So you can see this thing's already, you know, beat up. A lot of the trim is gone. In fact, I just put my hand up there. It's totally wet. So it's been kind of tough keeping this thing waterproof because there's no seals in the doors or anything like that. And I've gone through like 4 or 5 of these covers, and I keep thinking like, oh, this is the last one. And then, you know, we're going to get onto this car. And then, of course, my other car is taking too long to get finished. So I was hoping this was the last cover that I'll ever buy, because this will go into the garage and we'll start working on it. I don't know if I'm going to make it through the season. Like, it's pretty much raining every day in July and every day in August. So it might make it through, but then after that, like, the whole top's starting to crack and I'm starting to tape it up and stuff, and it's just better to get a new cover. So there'll maybe be one more cover to get this thing through December, January, and then hopefully this thing's going to get started. So we'll see. You know, life kind of throws you different curveballs at different times, and you never know how it's going to go. But but I am excited about that, and I'm going to bring this up a few times because I know not everybody gets to watch every video. But if there's anybody that knows about the 240-300 engine, about putting horsepower on it, I definitely want to hear from you. The only person that I found that sounds like you know what they're talking about is I don't know what his official name is, but from Clifford. Clifford, they do the intakes and carburetors, and but I don't want to put a carburetor on this van. And then I was talking to my tuning guy who was working on this car, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, we put turbos on stuff like this." And I was like, "Huh, I'm not a big turbo fan, but if I want to get some pump out of this thing and get it to move a little bit, because you know right now it's like, I don't know. I think brand new is probably 125 horsepower. It's probably at 80 horsepower at this point. You know, it's barely putting along. So I don't know. You know, I know people will put V8s and stuff like that in there, and you know, it could be a possibility. But I'd rather keep it original with the original engine. That's kind of my. It's so unique and different. I'd rather keep it original. So, but I don't mind putting either fuel injection on it, got to have fuel injection, and if it has turbo too, well, that could be interesting. And they were talking about putting the turbo like in the back of the unit because there's not a lot of room up front. So if there is anybody that specializes in that and knows how to like bolt on horsepower to those engines, I'm all ears. So that's kind of where we're at. I'm going to go ahead and pull this thing down. Shifted through all gears. Everything seems to be working okay. And not seeing any leaks. I didn't go crazy on it or anything, just drove it in the neighborhood, but we'll let it, heat cycle on everything, and gonna go from there. So hopefully next time I take it out, I'll go for a nice 30-minute drive or something. Make sure everything's working great, but it's just way too hot out. It's 95 plus with humidity, with chance of rain. So without air conditioning, it's just brutal. All right, till next time, have a great day.